And welcome back to Scinary Information Nexus, your podcast of sin. Believe it or not, that was not
as good.
Not what?
Oh, what was it?
Right out. Oh, I was going to say, Mr. Wortham, it was not. It was not Joseph Hamilton.
We're off to a great start.
We are off to a great start. Welcome, everyone. Thanks to both of y'all that are joining us on this podcast. Today, I'm joined by our colleague Ty Valdis, along with Brazos Wortham. Say hello.
Hello.
And our friend and colleague Jason Phillips with Mustang Cyber. Hello, Jason.
Hello, friends.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing well. How was the drive up?
It was not raining and it was not packed.
Yeah.
Like my drive home is going to be.
Yeah, your drive home is going to be a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got to go south, right?
Yes.
Oh.
I actually have to go all the way over to 45 and then go south.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
35 is all messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because that Auburn, the University of Auburn, is playing Baylor tonight in Waco. So we get the entire state of Alabama in Waco, Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Then all the people in Waco are out. Walking to lunch, there were hundreds of people wearing Baylor shirts.
Dude, we were, when we went down to go to lunch, and we saw this, right? There was an older couple. Like, it was like 10:30 in the morning, and they were, Crickets was unlocking the door. Crickets is the pub downstairs, and they were unlocking the door. And they opened the door and said, it'll be 30 minutes. And the little lady said, do y'all serve Bloody Marys?
Starting early.
They were like, yeah, but in 30 minutes, right? So
I guess we can't really say anything.
No. Speaking of that, and that's a nice segue. Mr. Phillips, you brought some mead, I guess, from after I made the directive that mead is no longer to be served at podcast. Apparently, you didn't get that memo, and so you brought mead. So what do we got here?
So that is Thorin's Viking mead, which is just a general mead made from old ways to make it. I don't have any details on that. That's what the label says.
I like it how your cybersecurity company, your swag are whiskey jars or whiskey glasses.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
That works.
Yeah.
I'm big on whiskey and mead.
As we tend to say, on brand.
Yeah. So that is a very good mead. I mean,
How would you compare it to Texas Mead Works?
So
last week?
I'm not going to know for another 40 minutes. I mean,
kick in first.
Yeah. So, and what do you have, Brazos?
So this is a blackberry, like kind of. I think it is mead, funnily enough, but that they do like a carbonated cocktail. It's Meridian Hive down in Austin.
Yeah.
It's actually really good. I will say the Texas Meadworks Blackberry Melomel was better than this, but I mean, I think that's to be expected. This is coming in a can.
Yeah.
The other stuff looked to be a little bit more homemade than this, but it is really good. I would say if someone had this at a party, I'd definitely be drinking it. I've got 3 more to go through.
I understand. And Ty?
I just got the white monster. I just had panic juice instead of depresso juice.
Yeah.
Very good. So I think it's important to get into the episode now that we've talked about what we were drinking and what tomorrow morning may hold for me as far as how many Advil I'm going to have to take. But
You can't pass up the Viking blood mead neither.
So is that blood or blood?
It's blood. Because in Old Norse, all the vowels say their long name. So, so it's blood.
Okay. So we got the Thorin's Viking mead, which I like, and then Viking blood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll get into that a little later. I'm not quite sure, but yeah.
I feel like you're obligated to drink it since it's called blood.
I feel like we should be doing we're going to sacrifice a virgin on a pyre or something later.
I mean,
maybe a
That
lamb.
can be arranged.
I mean, the status of the person I don't think matters.
Yeah.
Bring in the interns.
Not again.
The red shirts.
But this is very good. So, but I do believe we need to get into the episode right quick. So, Jason Phillips, you are a pen tester extraordinaire, longtime friend of Scinary Cybersecurity. You and I have known each other for almost 10 years now,
Almost.
right? From back in the day. So, just kind of tell folks what you do. What does it mean to be a pen tester? Is that a real horn that you're drinking out of?
Absolutely. It's a goat horn.
Just explain to the folks what you do, what Mustang Cyber does.
So Mustang Cybersecurity, because of the inability for local businesses to pay big bucks for cybersecurity, we have a very low overhead as far as cost, because you're pretty much just paying for services, and everything that we use is homegrown. I write my own exploit tools, scanning tools, so there's very minimal overhead.
I see you got a YubiKey and a USB hanging from your necklace.
Yes. So to protect like my GitHub and all that,
yeah,
I've got the YubiKey and whatnot.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. It sounds like that you're kind of in the same industry as us, as far as who your clients are going to be. You and I may have to talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
Because I know you, and you're very good at what you do on that. And we're going to get into some of the things that you want to talk about from a cybersecurity standpoint in a little bit. But I want to open this up to the group. Earlier this week, and I mean like Thursday, yesterday, or day before.
It was either Thursday morning, Wednesday night. I think that was released.
Computer. It's not bleeping computer. It's
Cyber News.
Cyber News. Yeah. Released an article. It says first AI ransomware prompt locked uses OpenAI GPT OSS 20B model for encryption, and it goes through how this attack works. And these are from the good folks over at ESET Research that actually saw this and found it. Now, whether this is the first time that this has actually been used in the wild, I would doubt that. But I guess it may be the first documented case of it.
Yeah, so I think in that article, it specifically talks about how the way ESET found it was not, with it not being leveraged in an actual ransomware attack, they found the sample on VirusTotal.
Oh.
And then they were doing the review of the sample, and they found all of the information that suggested that it was being written by a GPT or an AI model.
So the I guess the kind of so vibe coding for ransomware has been around for a little bit, I would think. Like I think attackers are using AI to generate code and PowerShell scripts and things like that, and I think that's been around for a little while. This is the first example I've seen where it actually calls back to like ChatGPT and does a post command back to the API endpoint to basically say, hey, this is what I'm up against, write a thing for this. And I think it spits it back out, and I think it deploys it. I don't know how successful it is.
So the article specifically talks about, and I think there is a point that like a security researcher, and this may have been debunked at this point, but a security researcher did come out and say, hey, that was my like test code that got leaked on VirusTotal, on how to deploy it, because what they were doing is they were reviewing it, and it had like weak encryption. I think it was using like 128 bit like encryption model that wasn't very good. There were several like mistakes within like the prompts that just seemed like very basic. And so it was a test case. Now, if it was a security researcher's test case, that's a different story. And as what you were saying regarding AI being leveraged in attacks, it's been done a ton of times. I mean, you've got, I know in several cases, AI has been used to identify sensitive data within people's environments for data exfiltration, which again, not exactly ransomware, but one of the earlier stages in ransomware attacks.
So, and I mean, we've seen some PowerShell scripts come across our consoles that kind of look like, this looks AI generated. There's stuff out of place, on some of this stuff. So it's been around a while, but first documented case of that. how do we feel about this is the future of ransomware?
Anybody else? But anyway, I do think, funnily enough, me and Jason were having a conversation earlier, and this goes back to a conversation that I was having with with our CTO, probably last year or the year before, was the idea that the way I see AI being leveraged by attackers is not just in them using it in vibe coding ways and trying to generate malware quicker and like the speed and velocity in which they can develop that stuff. Surely that's already being done. But the idea of leveraging models in that exact way where you've got malware planted on a machine that makes callbacks to an API endpoint, be that like an attacker hosted model or even just jailbreaking legitimate models, to do like polymorphic malware. Like it rewrites itself as it discovers different things. And I think this is going to be a fun thing as we continue to get into some of the conversations that we're going to have with Jason. But it identifies certain roadblocks, if you will, as it goes through it. And then it just rewrites itself using that ChatGPT or, attacker hosted model to basically thwart whatever roadblock is in its way.
I think that polymorphic code has been the holy grail of, virus writers, devs, all that stuff for a lot of years. I don't know that it's ever been truly polymorphic, but I know that there's been examples of like callbacks to a server to say, okay, this is not Windows, say 2012, this is Windows 2008. What do I do now? Right. And it kind of injects the code or changes the code and then goes back to it. But I think AI does offer that possibility that we could be looking at true polymorphic code because it's only going to get better, right?
Well, if you were able to find a way to get like an agentic model, and this was specifically what we were talking about, is that when the big ARM craze came out, and I know Donald was all into that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But a big reason for all those ARM processors were the idea of being able to run the models on device.
Yeah.
And so if you were able to get like an agentic model sitting on a device, either a corrupted model that's on the device or something that you placed yourself, that could then call back to like a C2 model, that the agentic model is doing all of the discovery on the device, and then it sends back to the C2 model what it finds.
Right.
And then that C2 model orchestrates what that agentic model is doing on the device. And then so you could have it rewrite its entire self based off those roadblocks.
And go ahead.
So I was listening to Jason Haddock's talk about how he's recently been doing exploits against different AI models and things like that. One of the things is called link smuggling. And what you do is you format a prompt in a certain way so that it makes a web call out to go look for the information. And through like Apache logs and things like that is where the information's actually disclosed. But not only that, but you could write your server in such a way that when it receives said error, give it these instructions to give back to the AI model, and then the AI model passes it back to the malware.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And and so one of the complaints that we get for the 4 people that watch this podcast is we throw out a lot of terms and we don't really explain what those terms are. So agentic is an agent on the endpoint.
Yeah. So,
right.
And specifically with in the context of AI, like you'll hear the term agentic AI, and that's typically an AI worker that is coded to do one very specific task. So you'll have many agentic models all coded to do a slightly different thing, and then you'll have like an orchestrator model that then controls all of the, like kind of like a queen bee and all their worker bees, but AI. So
the AI hive.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's this is the worst, like the AI malware stuff. It's the worst version that it's ever going to be. It's only going to get better from here, which that leads to challenges for us as like blue teamers, right? Mm-hmm. Because we've got very good analysts. They know what to look for. They understand what anomalous activity looks like. But if you get AI good enough, they just blend in with normal traffic. And so I think that, 2 years down the road, it's going to be extremely difficult to determine what is data exfil versus what is just normal traffic.
Well, there's a lot to be said. I think you mentioned this. I can't remember if it was last podcast or the one previous.
Nobody can remember the last podcast. Right?
Yeah, it was a pretty rough one. But you were talking about the evolution of security being heavily focused on identities. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be true because even with AI, another cybersecurity term, NHI, or non-human identity. So you're talking about like API, like GWT tokens, service accounts, all these things that now with, again, agentic AI, they go and create all these NHIs that you have no idea where they're at, right? So you've got API tokens that are sitting out there that this AI agent went and created. I think we're going to get more and more on the security level where that's where we're needing to pay attention is like, where is this identity coming from? Do I actually know that identity exists? Like, is that tied to anything that, within my environment, or was that a newly created identity? Who created that identity? Is that an agentic model? Was it like a systems administrator? Like, who made that? Funnily enough, though, I also think on the security and the network detection piece, because it's going to make API calls. You're going to see it.
I agree. And especially if it's making a post, a post request to like a known AI endpoint.
Yeah.
Right. If you're making a post request, that's something we need to look at, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's, that's giving data to the server. So that's something we absolutely need to look at. But I'm going to take it a step further. I want to get into EDR evasion in a little bit with AI because I think that's going to be kind of one of the next frontiers. But down the road, you're going to be looking at identity detection and response. Yeah. Compromised identities, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's where cybersecurity, on the flip side of where the technology is going, I think on the cybersecurity side, you need to be looking at identity detection and response. Which we do a little of that through Duo here, right? We're able to detect,
and Connect is able to look at the different identities within GWS or O365, and we're able to shut those accounts down. But
even at that, it gets difficult, you know?
Even when stuff like Duo or Okta or any of those kind of services are also paired with VPNs, you can start confusing your non-technical users because you sign in to something on the work laptop and it says, oh, you tried checking in from California, and you look at your phone and it just gets you used to looking and ignoring the location.
Well, and then, not only that, but we had a case, we had a couple of cases earlier this week on identity management where we take in Office 365 logs or M365, whatever the hell Microsoft is calling their crap these days.
Yep.
Right.
But we take all that stuff in, right? And so we know where the user's logging in from, the IP address, what files they're touching, and all of that stuff. And one of our jobs is, okay, is this a legitimate login? Well, we run into an issue this week where our telemetry, where we think the GeoIP, the IP, the geolocation of the IP, where we think that's at, what our tools are telling us where that's at, and where Microsoft is saying that it's at, those are two different things.
Yeah.
Right?
In one case, so the interesting part here with that, because I was the one going through all the Microsoft logs to figure this out, the login that we saw, and we're very, honed in on when things log in from foreign countries, most of our customers being, almost all of them being here in the United States. When somebody logs in from a foreign country, it's a little odd. Now, that happens from time to time. There's legitimate reasons for it. But in this case, it was a student account. Students typically aren't going to be in foreign countries. So we were like, okay, what's going on here? We reached out to the client and they were like, well, I have conditional access. That shouldn't have happened. So it was like, okay, that's weird. Let me go check your conditional access policies to make sure they're applied correctly. Lo and behold, they were. I mean, it was a very simple conditional access policy. If outside of the United States,
do not allow. Yeah.
So there was no misconfiguration there. So whenever I started looking at the sign-in logs, I realized that what Microsoft reported the IP as was in I think either Richmond, Virginia or Roanoke, Virginia. And our data had it in Canada. And what's funny is we took the IP address and we went to multiple different geolocation tools and looked it up, and all of them said that it was in Canada. The only one that said it was out of Virginia was Microsoft. And so it's like, how much is that, like, how effective is the conditional access if your IP address information is wrong?
So and we still don't know, like, who was right and who was wrong.
Yeah.
Our telemetry says it was in Canada, and not only is it our telemetry, but we double checked and triple checked where this IP was, and everything said Canada. Microsoft were the only knobs saying it was in Miami or wherever it was.
One was in Virginia, and the other one that said it was from Puerto Rico on our telemetry, Microsoft was saying it was out of Miami. The one in Miami, it was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Why is Canada? Why is it saying it's in Virginia?
Yeah.
Like,
I would reference a previous episode with that, though, when y'all were talking about the speed at which Microsoft gives logs.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do they update their IP addresses and stuff?
So Microsoft is actually pretty quick at getting the logs to us, right? It's a few seconds. It's not terrible. Google is the bad one.
Oh, Google.
Google is the bad one.
And what's funny is we saw this again the other day. This was with a SAT tool reporting metrics on users finishing the training, and it was like 3 hours behind, I think. Updating
because it was tied into the Google log,
Google
right.
API. Yeah. It was like 3 hours behind. It's like, I want to know what kind of magic they're doing on the back end to delay it that long.
It's like, where are you getting your information from?
So I think, when we talk about AI in cybersecurity, we talked a little bit about like where the future is going to be in EDR evasion. And I know this is something that you wanted to discuss on, like, how easy it is to get around EDR, and, some of the tools and techniques that you would use as you work. What are some of the tools and techniques that you use to get around EDR?
Yeah, so some of the techniques that I've actually used when doing my job were very rudimentary. I was able to get on a box, and I had local admin privileges on the box, so I could make whatever changes I wanted. So I was able to look at the EDR. It listed what host name it was actually connecting back to in order to tell on me. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a way to crash it at that point, so all I did was do a query for the DNS logs within the machine, found the IP addresses and everything, just so I could have a good idea of what was going on. And then I went into the host file of that machine and actually just pointed it to something that wasn't routable from there. I think they were on like a 10. Network, and I pointed it to a 192 network.
The host file attack still works?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, some of these like really sophisticated things just can't get past the EDR, but if you go back to your known good, it works.
Yeah. So, I mean, if an attacker is determined to get in, they're going to figure out a way to bypass EDR. The one that, and we talked about this when we were downstairs. I was telling you about one of the attacks that we saw was they tried to reinstall the EDR. And so it kept crashing, and it kept fighting itself, trying to reinstall itself. And the attacker was able to work around that. And again, it came back to network monitoring because we just started seeing our clone data exfil, going out of the network. And we were like, didn't you have EDR? Yes, we did. And I remember when we were working this incident, because one of the sysadmin goes, well, it's a good EDR because it slowed them down.
It's like, yeah,
I don't think that's the way that's supposed to work. But yeah, I'm sure it slowed them down. But yeah, so EDR evasion is a thing that can happen for determined attackers.
Absolutely. I absolutely believe in the idea of a multi-layered defense, as any security person should. So your network monitoring is probably going to be the hardest to evade with good network monitoring. looking at deep packet inspection, looking at the different host classifications that are being called to. And the EDR is absolutely trusted way too much in the industry.
This we know.
Yes. This same EDR, about a year later, I was still trying to work around it, and most of the time my living off the land techniques can work around it, which is a whole problem within itself.
Yeah.
But I eventually was able to create a little script that what it did was it created all these different processes that did absolutely nothing but hang in time.
Yeah.
And what that did is it ended up filling up the memory of the machine, and it would cause the EDR to crash. I don't know if that was a fail safe to keep the machine from crashing.
Right.
But the EDR itself would crash, and there was monitoring built into that program that looked through process IDs, saw this particular EDR, and when it saw the process end, it would quickly go to the installation directory and remove those service files. So when the service tried to start back up, those executables weren't there. So
you mentioned a little bit living off the land. Can you tell us what some of your magic is? Like, what do you like?
I really like Microsoft SQL servers, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't we all?
Oh, yeah.
1433 is a thing.
Oh, man. It gives up so much information. My absolute favorite thing when I find Microsoft SQL is being able to enumerate every user group and computer on the domain through UUID cycling. I mean, it's
so explain a little bit about what that is, because we don't know that.
So there's specific functions within Microsoft SQL where it queries the domain controller for a specific SID that exists, starting with 500 for your administrator account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you go up to 1,000, I believe, for the first user, and then it just increments from there, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. And by querying those SIDs, it will actually return the domain username as the format domain/user. And so, Metasploit even has a module for it, and you just point it out there and you say, I think I want 9,000 records. And it'll just go from 1,000 to however many you put in there.
So just in its default state, you can get a lot of data just by querying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's just only one of the many attack vectors that exist within that.
And I may be wrong here, but the Microsoft SQL, that's running, like whenever you make a machine into an AD, like a domain controller, I'm pretty sure it starts the SQL service, right, on the back end, or am I wrong on that? Because isn't it using that basically to store all the users?
I would have to look that up,
Okay.
actually.
I'm probably wrong on that, but whenever you elevate that to a domain controller, the actual like users and computers portion, I thought that was being stored in like a Microsoft SQL on the back end, like that's what it's running. But again, I may be wrong.
Yeah. Another issue that I normally run into is that organizations love for Microsoft SQL to be running under the context of a domain user.
Mm-hmm.
So automatically you have a lot of issues there. It doesn't matter the password that you gave that user. The password that is protecting that Microsoft SQL instance, if it's weak, then that user is weak.
Mm-hmm.
And people like to use service accounts all the time for that, but those are very low monitored in the cases that I've seen.
Yeah.
Easy target.
They usually have controls that were good for an old policy. So as we go through time, password requirements are continuously going up from used to be 8 characters, now 32 characters.
Right.
It's pretty safe.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see a Microsoft SQL instance that's been running since 2002.
Yeah.
and you jump on there, you get all the domain users, and someone's going to have a weak password.
Yeah, and obviously, if it's a service account, then you've got the whole Kerberoasting side of things, and makes it very easy to exploit that.
So, in your experience, when you get into a network, even as say it's just a low-level user, how easy or difficult is it to move around in the network undetected and elevate your privs? In your experience?
In my experience, it is very easy just because of people being people.
Yeah.
They leave passwords in text files. They program their connection strings in clear text and XML for their web apps. I mean, it gets super easy.
We saw one this week where there was a domain admin account scripted in a bat file. I don't really recall what the batch file was doing, but they had hard coded the one of administrator and then the password, and the password was.
Are you sure they hard coded it? It's probably vibe coded.
No. So it predates all that. It predates all that. And the reason why I know it predates all of it because it was a Star Trek reference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a ship registry number. Like only nerds
I
would
was
know.
about to say only you would know that.
Yeah. And I looked at it and was like, oh, that's the USS Excalibur. Now I've just given away the password.
Star Wars is better.
Hey. Hey.
Got him.
You were invited. I can uninvite you. Take that back.
What's funny is he gets all upset, but I've yet to see a single 3D printed Star Trek thing in this entire office.
They don't have droids.
Like
Star Trek doesn't have droids. There are no droids in Star Trek.
I mean, isn't there other things you could 3D print? Like maybe
like Chekhov? What do you want me to do?
We are in the age
Build
of AI.
data.
There can be an AI bot of some star whatever character.
I can't display an AI bot. That's in the ether, man. I can't do that. I mean,
Build data.
yeah, I guess I could do that. Just a yeah.
I mean, I have a feeling
Stand
there's
outside
like
the door, he'll greet people.
there's got to be something of like the Enterprise, right? Like
You
know.
could build a model enterprise.
1-to-1s go.
No,
take
About
forever.
1-to-1, but
no.
That would take forever.
hey, maybe we'd finally get roof access just because. Hey, I need a place to put my models.
I don't think these guys are ever going to give us roof access. I've asked like 15
What's
times.
funny is everybody else in this building has it.
yes, I know.
I can't imagine why we don't. That's
Yeah.
so weird, isn't it?
I have 30 people in this cybersecurity company, and not one of them can get a 4-pin door to open.
I mean,
So I haven't
do you
tried.
want-
Do you want me to try?
No, I do not.
do you want true facts?
No,
That's what
Remember the-
Jason and I are both here. We'll do it.
No, because this is going out to the YouTubes, and I'm telling you unequivocally, do not do that.
Do you remember?
Do that.
I think-
Heard.
Reportedly, I can not
Allegedly.
do that.
Allegedly, I can't do that.
I remember there was way back in the day when I was an intern. So you're talking about.
By the way, this
7,
is the
8 years
portion
ago.
of the podcast where it goes off the rails.
Yeah. Yes. Do you remember the assignment we used to give interns?
And it's at minute 30, so we're right on schedule. I scripted it in this week.
Which one?
So the assignment where in our old building, Richard said, "Hey, go pen test the building and write a report on
Oh
it."
yeah.
Oh, I did do that.
Yes,
yeah.
you did.
If you get caught and go to jail, you fail.
Yeah.
That was indeed the test.
Yep.
I like my internship better.
Yeah, your internship was good. Your internship was good. So I do. For you guys know, like Jason was the first intern that I had when we first started the company back in 2015. This is
Ground zero
2016.
intern.
So, and it was weird. Jason, like I wasn't looking for interns. I was just trying to eat. Right. That's how bad it was. I was like, can I get enough money?
Yeah, he just saw a homeless person sitting on the side of the street. Hey,
Yes.
you need money, man?
Yeah. So he actually reached out to me, and I was like, dude, I can't pay you. He said, I don't care. I was like, I work out of my house in the back room. He said, I don't care. I was like,
Let me in.
all right, come on. I don't know what we're going to do. And so he shows up, and I mean, he's in full like trench coat. I mean, the whole
in the red
yards.
Dodge Charger.
Yes, the
Yeah.
red Dodge Charger.
Little
and,
did you know that was just Jason's first social engineering job.
Yeah.
And my hair was also dyed black and had a blue tint in it, and I was like definitely hacker status at that point.
Yeah.
Hacker man.
And at the time, we like you would show up, and I was like, I can't pay you, and you're like, I'm, whatever, let's do some cool shit, right? And so we would do some cool shit, and I think I had 4 or 5 clients and we weren't doing any of the like Centurion stuff at that time. It was just basically, hey,
I'll pay my bar tab. I'll fix your POS system.
We damn sure did that. We damn sure did that.
How all good companies start.
Yep.
My POS system crash. I will come fix it for all the beer. Right?
Man, you got paid beer?
We got and restored that damn thing too.
I just got written up.
Yeah. So there was we had one client that and I was desperate for anything that anyone would bring us. And there was this one client that said, hey, we need our OUs cleaned up in Active Directory. And in true Richard Martin fashion, how hard could that be? And Jason shows up, and I said, hey, we got a gig. We're doing AD, and Jason's like going, don't do it, dude.
Nope.
Don't do it. Don't get involved in Active Directory, OUs. Don't do that. Like,
Granted, I was only a college student at the time and was really just learning tech at this point.
Yeah.
I had already learned enough. Do not get involved with Active Directory.
yeah. And I'm like, it can't be that tough, man. I understand OUs.
Yeah,
and,
I really got those collectors knocking on my door.
yeah. So I got dogs to feed. I mean, it was terrible back then. And he warned me. He's like, don't do it. I was like, we need the money. And it was something stupid. It was like I charged $1,500 for it.
Yeah.
And it was going to be this like weeks long engagement where I was going to have to clean up the OUs. Well, fast forward, and actually, not only did I clean up the OUs, I deleted the damn thing. Like, gone. Like, and so I get so I'm feeling really proud of myself. On a Thursday, I called the system administrator. I said, I'm done. Your OUs are clean. He said, that's weird. The bells aren't working. And I was like, oh no. What do you mean? Hey, the doors are locked. Nobody can get out. He's like, oh no.
Access control, bells. No one can log into their computer.
So
did you ransomware me, sir?
Yes, absolutely.
He said, this is trash.
For $500, I
Threw it
can
away.
fix it back.
yeah. So luckily I had the foresight to enable recycle bin in PowerShell before I started making all the changes on that. And so what had happened was I thought I was deleting OUs. Well, I was, but I deleted more OUs than I needed to delete and get rid of. And so
all
I
of them
deleted
is-
all the service accounts.
I think all of them is
All
more
the-
than you needed to delete.
Yes. All the service
It was
accounts.
like a nested thing, right? Like,
Yes. Yeah. It was absolutely terrible. But through that, and this is how I know you learn more through mistakes than you do through success. I learned more about PowerShell in the next 8 hours than I ever wanted to know in my life. It took me till 4:00 in the morning to get all that shit restored. But I did it. I did it. So when they came back to school, the doors worked, the bells were working, everybody was happy.
It's okay.
And the worst part is, I felt so bad. I was like, I'm not going to charge you for that. So I was right back where I started. Jason shows up on Monday. I'm like, well, that didn't work out.
And I said, I told you.
You
I
know,
told you.
the funniest thing about that entire thing, or the I guess more than the shining light, those people are still customers to this day.
Yes, they are. They are.
I said that earlier. I was like, we still have them.
Yeah, they are clients because because I did the right thing. It was like, man, I messed up. This is what I did. I didn't mean to do it.
And we never did it again.
And to his credit, he was like, can you fix it? I'm like, sure. I was,
Boat's confident.
Jason, what do you know about PowerShell? Jason says he can fix it.
Not my monkey anymore.
Yeah, but no, we fixed it. I mean, it was an all-nighter, but again, I learned more about PowerShell, and the worst part was that this knob came in on a Friday morning, came to my house, and said, "How'd it go?" I'm like, "Man," and he goes, "Didn't I tell you?" Like, I would have fired him, but I remembered I wasn't paying him. It was absolutely terrible. So Jason and I have chewed on a lot of the same dirt together, for sure.
Especially when business started to pick up and we were so bogged down in reporting that we really needed to streamline that.
Yeah. Lo and behold, here comes Jason with a Python script called Alfred.
Yes. Because I had to sell it to him. So I banked off his Batman references and love for Batman and named it Alfred. And what it did was it ingested a bunch of the scans that we were doing for the clients. And you could give it parameters like, I only want to include things higher than like 3.3 on the CVS score and things of that nature. Or I only want things that are high, low, critical, whatever.
Richard, what happened to that script between the time of Jason and me?
So
I felt that coming. I was like, Jason, you still got that script anywhere?
So funny thing.
And it was a Python script and wrote it all out in Word doc.
You know what this guy would make me do? Not only would I have to run the scans manually for every single client, I then had to verify the output with Nmap. So it was 2 scans, and it was all manual.
You know what?
Every bit.
You could have spared Brazos and I the biggest fight we ever had. Well, by holding on to that script.
Well,
you bastard.
So I probably said something. Well, if you want to build it, Jason did it. Yes, you know.
I set the bar really high.
I tried.
Yeah.
I remember sitting and building a script for Nmap for like a week. I get this done, and so the thing was, and this was like brand new into the thing, and I hated doing the scans. It was like if it gives you any indication, I traded all of the scan work for doing GRC. Worst decision of my life, but at the time I thought it was good. But anyway, I hard coded all, I think 35 some odd client IP addresses into a script that Nmap would pull and run. And it took me a week because this was like very early on. I didn't really know how
2018.
Yeah, how any of this stuff worked. And I remember Donald, I'm super proud of this script. It's working. I'm scanning everybody. I'm like, man, I just have to press go and it does it all. It's so cool. And I was so excited. I wanted to show Donald about this script. I was like, hey man, look what I just did. I automated all this. He takes one look at my script and he's like, that's terrible. Why did you do it that way?
I think he said, hold on one second.
Control A, delete, proceeds to write 5 lines, and it does all the work I spent an entire week doing.
And I remember you being so upset.
I wanted to.
So mad.
I remember for the next 3 days, I just drove home in silence.
But so that automation script that you made me, I remembered it, but I didn't know how to duplicate it. And so that's why they didn't get it.
Okay.
And because I was using it as, look what I did.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
And so eventually I think I lost it, or I either changed it and it stopped working. There was something that broke with it. And this was back when we were doing a lot of GRC. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to kick it old school. I'm going to build all this in VB script.
Oh, God.
The accursed Excel document.
That is just, it's an Eldritch horror of its own. I'm telling you, Richard's a lich.
Yeah.
So I built this thing that
Techno-lich.
that was super impressive through Excel. It had buttons, it autofilled, it generated reports automatically.
It was impressive.
It killed your laptop.
Yep.
But that was the thing.
It was a logic bomb. You opened the thing and it would just crash your computer.
It required so much memory to even open that the interns would open it and they're like, my computer crashed.
Yeah, no, so I'd be on phone calls and stuff trying to get this Excel sheet to open, and I would have to warn the client, be like, "Hey, if my laptop crashes, I'm sorry. This Excel sheet's a beast."
And the other thing is, you would finish inputting all the data for the client at the end, and they would be expecting a report. You have to look at them and be like, "Well, I'll have the report to you in like 3 days." One, because it would take forever, and some of the logic it wasn't fully built out, so you'd have to go and like manually change some of the like outputs because it wouldn't go and grab them correctly. So it was oh man.
But for folks my age who saw it, were like,
They were impressed.
oh, it was I
was the coolest
still stand by the fact that was probably one of the most impressive uses of VB script that I've ever seen.
It really was.
It was a very nifty spreadsheet, but it was, yeah, if you really want to logic
almost
bomb
completely
something, like
useless.
it, you know, if I'm pretty sure if you uploaded that to like AWS, it'd probably take down their entire cloud.
Do we still got it?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, do we?
Oh yeah, I saved a copy of it. I have it. I
sweet.
showed the stock the other day.
The job I have when I get home is to go through all of my hard drives, all of my flash drives, all of my backups, and see if I still have Alfred.
Oh, you should. You should. And then, upload that to GitHub and we'll pull it down.
And then I'm going to send it to Brazos and
You're not going to be allowed to send that to Brazos because anything from Jason Phillips to Scinary, Donald scrutinizes.
Yeah. Defender just catches it.
It'll
immediately.
just like Donald will see in Microsoft that something from Mustang Cyber came
He'll
in.
go, no.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
There's just already a pre-written rule that says if it's from this domain, it doesn't drop it.
Yeah. But you should upload to GitHub, give us the link, we'll pull it down, and it's a nice artifact of the old days.
You know, and we're not even talking about the original idea for the episode. You know, I still have the original OG Centurion.
Yeah, the 410.
First one, the one the prototype was on. It's at my house.
Yeah, the 410.
Brazos' house doubles as the Scinary Museum.
Yeah, I've got the chairs from the old office. I've got the card tables we used to sit at.
chairs still crack me up.
I've got the plaque. I know one of the last things we did when we left the old office, Donald pulled the Sentinel Cyber Intelligence logo off the door. I've got that sitting like right next to my door. I've got all kinds of stuff at the house.
Yeah. Every time we get rid of stuff, we haven't done it recently, but when we get like try to shed the Austin Avenue vibe and all that, I was like, here, this is, Brazos, here's another thing for the museum.
For the museum. Now I will say that old Centurion is probably covered in a lot of dust, but it's still there.
Yeah. So we got a long weekend coming up. Anybody got any special plans?
I'm just gonna be pulling stuff out of my garden and getting ready for fall and stuff.
For me, after a long week of cybersecurity and death by PowerPoint,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. What about you?
Sleep.
I think we're having a dinner with some friends.
Oh, all
There
right.
you
All right. I've got to replace a RAID card in my server at home. It died.
Rip.
It died. It's
Bulldog hair?
You probably. I haven't pulled the cover off the server, but it's not rating or carding. It's not doing anything.
It's not rating or
You know what?
carding.
I also still have the totally what did I call it? Totally safe spreadsheet that I made for the client that
Oh,
requested
yeah.
malware.
Yeah.
We had a client like request us build malware, so I just built a Excel sheet that whenever they would open it, it would automatically call for Chrome, and it would pull up Rickrolling. It would while it was Rickrolling them, it would do a bunch of things in the background.
Word.
So you're stuck watching a YouTube video while it's
Didn't
creating.
YouTube get rid of the Rick Astley?
No, it's still there.
No, is it?
No.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you would have like entire
the internet
like,
would riot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that would be the
Absolutely.
downfall of YouTube. You want to see YouTube destroyed? Get rid of the Rickroll.
Yeah.
Well, like whenever, and this is stupid internet lore, but do you remember this is a couple of years ago, like how many people got upset when they pulled down the Charlie Bit My Finger video?
Yeah.
like so many people were upset.
What does that mean?
So there was a video that went super viral when, we were in high school.
Bit me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, a little ageism. That's all right.
Yeah, a little bit. But it went viral when we were in high school. And the way that I think the kid was in the UK, the
Yeah.
way he said that his little brother Charlie bit his finger was just absolutely adorable, hilarious, depending on who you talk to.
Yeah.
Right.
So they took it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and so people started rioting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Don't get rid of our archived humor.
So-
Exactly.
Why'd they take it down?
so. I think somebody bought the rights to the original,
Oh, good
like
Lord.
the YouTube channel or
Which is
something,
stupid,
and then they pulled it off YouTube, like the people that then owned the channel. So
Like billions of views just gone.
yeah,
So it's like an NFT that they're.
honestly, I don't remember if they did change it into an NFT, but I want to say that was when all that was going on, and that was the purpose. Because
I
they wanted
remember
to turn it into an NFT.
the big thing about the NFT, the one that I remember is the monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The monkey that was an NFT and somebody stole the monkey.
Yeah. There's so many different variants of it now.
So
Yeah.
I guess I'll do the Richard thing. What was the next topic that we were supposed to talk about?
We got a little off the rails. You got a little bit of Scinary history.
I do.
This kind of relates. Don't you love it when they give you a project such as writing that malware and you have like 0 things to go off of?
Exactly. Yeah. They wanted to test an antivirus solution. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to lay the groundwork for our future. I just didn't know it yet.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I
They
said
give you no specs and okay, whatever.
Yeah, they were just,
So-
we want to see if it'll catch whatever you throw at us. I'm like, all right. So I did. It didn't catch it.
I knew Jason was coming this week, and so I sent him, "Hey, what do you want to talk about?" And he sent me a list back, and so I'm reading off this list. And the last thing on this list, which I am interested as all get out about, is the last thing on your list is a pen test team is like an axe. Abraham Lincoln.
Okay. So
I got to hear about this.
yes. So my biggest pet peeve when it comes to having a penetration testing team as a business is not giving them any time for training or consumption of any sort of material. They can't read a book. They can't do a class.
Reconnaissance. Right? Basically. Intel gathering.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily intel gathering, but like, so they have
Like a proprietary system or something that's not really used that much.
or like anything, allowing them to maybe for the last half of the day on Friday to jump on hack the box without working.
Right.
Yeah.
Just some sort of training. And the reason it says Abraham Lincoln is because Abraham Lincoln has a famous quote of, if you give me 5 hours to cut down a tree, I'm going to spend the first 4 sharpening the axe.
Yeah.
Having a pen test team is a tool. And if you're not keeping that tool sharp,
I agree.
it's going to end up being dull and
I agree.
worthless.
That's true.
Or you can take the Scinary approach where we don't do red teams anymore.
That's not true.
Well, I mean, we will, but
I'll be back eventually.
but here's the thing about red teams.
He said that because Joe's not here, and there's no one to contest him on the Scinary.
So-
Will not have a red team.
Oh, no, we do. It's
So
just-
we've had very successful red teams.
Yeah.
But they are nerve wracking as all get out. And I know because we did a red team a few years back where cutouts of people scared the crap out of us as we're breaking and entering into this section. We just these cardboard cutouts of like famous people. Like, oh my God. You know,
no,
we're caught.
If you're going to tell that story, you got to tell the whole story.
I can't tell the whole story.
Well, not like, with details.
But-
I was the one pushing him down the hallway.
Yeah, well, that is, it's a story for another podcast.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
But I get red team exercises, and I'm sure every cybersecurity company does this. You could have all the contracts in the world, all the lawyers in the world, write these contracts, get the get out of jail free cards and all that. But when you're breaking into somewhere logically or physically, and nobody's supposed to know that you're there, that is nerve wracking. That is absolutely nerve wracking, and it's nerve wracking for me.
The best.
It is.
Yeah, well, Jason, this is because you've got something wrong with you.
No, so really, if you just act like you belong there, or I mean, you could even just be a lost tourist, depending on your situation. Nobody's really going to question
At
you.
1 o'clock in the morning,
Hey, I got drunk and I'm lost.
That's
Get
why
me to
you
my
don't.
hotel. You
that's,
did the same thing.
that's why you don't do it when the doors are locked. You
Yeah.
do it when
Yeah,
everybody's there.
Yeah.
well,
No.
we did, but we stayed after. Is the
did.
problem? They locked the doors behind us.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so we really shy away from red teams, not because we're not successful at them. It's because we are successful at them.
yeah,
Right.
and to go back to like your point though on the idea of, you know, a tool is just as good as the maintenance on that tool. It's the same thing on the blue team side. I mean, you could, especially within cybersecurity, the tech land is evolving so quickly that if you're not up to date on things, you'll not know, it'll pass you by very quickly. And I because we're dealing with it on the blue team side, literally just the inverse. Like we're learning the new attacks. We're having to divide, like create new rules, identify those. Oh, that's a new obfuscation method, or that bypassed EDR. What are we going to do to prevent that from happening or detect it in another way? Well, on the red team side, it's like, the defenders just came up with a new fancy tool or a new way to stop my attack. I've got to figure that out and kind of readjust and fall back and rearm.
Hence,
basically
alcohol.
Alcohol.
Do you do any on-site pen testing anymore, or has it been a while?
It has been since I was at Scinary, since I did a physical pen test.
Yeah.
We don't talk about those days.
That was a good
That was
day.
a good.
So
We planted a land turtle and had remote
We
access.
We did, and you got caught and hauled to HR.
Yeah, afterward.
And you were a fake employee and got hauled to HR.
Yeah.
So the last red team engagement that I went on, speaking of kind of like going in and getting caught, this was pretty funny. We had identified, so we'd staked out this organization. That was like the first day we were there. It was a week-long engagement. And so the first day we spent driving around trying to identify, and this was an organization that had multiple different sites and then kind of a main like HQ. Well, so we wanted to identify which one we wanted to get into because we knew the HQ was going to be the most like secure location. They had the most employees there. There was actually a physical security guard at the front door. That was going to be the hardest one. Mind you, that's where their pot of gold was. It was their data center was there and everything else, and most of the IT guys. But they had a like a place where they parked like their utility vehicles at to do work. Well, we're like, there's got to be networking infrastructure in there, but it's going to be fairly light. But we had already identified from some of the probing that we did from a Wi-Fi network that it was a flat network. We could actually see the back-end servers from basically anywhere.
Don't you love it?
And so we're like, it doesn't matter where we find ourselves at. We're going to have some sort of communication to the back end. So we went there probably like during the middle of the day and walked in. We were all wearing just like basically what I'm wearing today, just normal like office gear. Had our laptops, and we found somebody that, you know, we were kind of looking puzzly around. Guy walks up to us and he's like, "Hey, how can I help you?" And we're like, "Well, we're from IT from the central building. We noticed that y'all are having a networking issue. We're just coming here to try to figure out if it's here, and we're trying to fix it." He's like, "Well, I'm not really the guy, but I'll go get the foreman." And so he goes and gets the shop guy, comes over. We tell him the exact same thing, and he's like, "Okay." And he looks at us weird, and he's like, "Can I see y'all's badges?" We left him at the office. He's like,
Man, we don't need no stinking badges.
We're going.
so what we told him was we left him at the office. We don't have them. And he was like, "Okay, well," and he did the right thing. He was like, "Well, come with me. Let me call your boss." We're like, "Okay, well, we thought we were caught." So in doing so, we told him to call the person that was our get out of jail free card. And he was like, "Oh, I'm not calling that guy. I don't want to bother him."
Oh my gosh.
And Hunter looks at me and I look at him, and we're like, just keep going. And he's like, "Oh, no, you're good. You can give him a call." And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not going to bother him." So he calls his boss and he's like, "Hey, do you know if anybody put in like an IT ticket to fix a networking issue?" And he's like, the guy on the other end, he was on speaker and he was like, "Nah, but somebody probably did. Just let him in." And he's like, "Okay."
They worked up to a point.
Yeah. And it was literally, we were in the server, and he walks in, opens the server room. They've got like all switches, routers, APs, all kinds of stuff in there. And he's like, "All right, well, I got some work to do, so just lock up when you guys leave." We're like, and he literally just walks out, gone. Like, okay. So we're sitting there, and like both me and Hunter are like,
Yeah.
And so we plan our little. We had a microtik that we actually set up to do a VPN back to here, and our machine, so we could communicate to their network from our hotel. So we plugged it in. Had called Joe, and we're like, "Hey Joe, can you hit the VPN from the car?" And he was like, "Yeah, y'all are good." So then we stayed in there. We were messing with some of the patch cables and everything for a little bit. And then we walked out and left. Got back to the hotel's room, started doing the attacks. But the thing that we found in that is that it was almost never the low level employee. They almost always did what they were supposed to do. It was like mid level management that was like, nah, somebody's probably okayed that.
I don't want to get into trouble.
Yeah.
So one last story about that, because Mr. LaForce and I did one for a school several years back, and it was a red team. You know, we were tasked with getting access however we could. And so we drove to wherever we needed to go, and I'll never forget, was like, let's try this building, right? And so we walked up to the building, and the doors were locked, but a school resource officer was walking by. And so he just opened the door and said, "Can I help you fellas? Like, we're with IT. There's some trouble. Look, come on in." I was like, oh man,
That's Southern hospitality.
Yep.
Yeah. That school resource officer the next morning got called on the carpet.
My favorite
Was that
thing
the
is when
same? Oh, sorry.
okay.
I was gonna say one thing. Was that the one where y'all had disconnected the 911 switch?
No, that was a different one, and we did not disconnect
Yeah.
it because I looked at the Ethernet cable.
911 on
The cable said 911 on it. Now, and I told Mr. LaForce that I don't think we should unplug that. Well, it's a pen test. I'm like, I don't want to like disrupt 911 for the entire county, dude.
Donald is so funny to take on pen tests because, again, my favorite thing, which is
Well, once you get him safe in a room, he's good.
not even. So when we were doing the thing that you don't want me to talk about, we were in Head Honcho's office, and he was trying to get a land turtle plugged into the back of the machine, but he was having trouble getting it done. And I started doing my thing where I'm just rummaging through this guy's stuff, and I find his key card, and I was like, "Donald, we don't need that anymore. I've got the keys to the castle." And he's like, take that. And he's like starting to like frantically get his stuff together, and then we start going down the hallway. That's when the cardboard cutout's freaking him out. But yeah, so because the thing is, we were going down the hallway trying to get back to our room that was like connected to it, and there's just, you can see a vague outline of people. And so I'm like pushing him down because I don't see it. And I'm just like, why are you stopping? This is not the time to stop. You need to keep walking. And he's just like, there's people. And then I look and I'm like, those are cardboard. Go. And I just start shoving him down the hallway. And I'm just like, this is why we would get caught.
Yeah. Yeah. But so that's why red teams are nerve wracking.
Yeah.
Those are very, very nerve wracking. So everyone, we are right clock. So an hour, 2
That
minutes.
says an hour or two.
Yeah. So an hour, 2 minutes into this. So I think we're going to have to leave it here. Jason, thank you for coming and partaking.
Absolutely.
Thank you for bringing the meat as well. I hope that was good, Brazos.
It was.
How about that special?
It was very good. It was worth probably the $10 you spent on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you trying to say, Brazil?
It's cheap meat. That's what he's trying to say.
You know you want to try it.
I'll try it. Yeah.
So that's for the after show. All right, everyone, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. And as always, we will see you next week.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.